the following page, and it's still part of ongoing controversies, is that it is linked to Mr. Eugene Mdise. And it is said in the second paragraph of the second page, News 24 has established that Triotic Protection Services, in which Mdise was the sole director and shareholder until February 2023, has got lucrative security contracts at the ANC Madibeng municipality in the northwest and Lipalale. Correct?
Yes, I heard that. I saw it on the newspaper.
Correct. So around this time, when you evaluated this tender for the TMPD, not this municipality, Mr. Mdise would have been the sole shareholder and director of Triotic. And obviously, when you evaluate, you would know those things because those are part of the documents that are submitted as to who is the director of that entity.
Since this has happened some years back, I wouldn't with certainty say the documents, more especially CIPC documents that were submitted, right, indicated whether he was the sole director or there was somebody else, right? I wouldn't with certainty say that. But what I know is that he is said to be the director of the company. But back then, I'm not sure as to what is it that the company registration document was saying in terms of directorship, whether there were other people on the directorship or not. It happened some time back.
Obviously, what we see, obviously, with your evidence, is starting to go towards, I don't know, I didn't know, and all of this. Can I accept that then equally you wouldn't be able to dispute it with certainty?
Yes, I won't be able to dispute it with certainty.
Can I also put this proposition to you, that in terms of your own policy and the SAM regulations, companies linked to people in the service of the state ought not to be appointed?
Maybe before he answers, so that we understand the import of this part of the discussion, considering, and I'm looking at the same article, Mrs. Kakan, considering that Mr. Mdise, at the time of the evaluation of this tender, according to this article, in fact, in its award, he wasn't a councillor. And I haven't seen a suggestion that he was an employee of the state at that time, at the time of the award of the tender. Is this a line of questions that should occupy us? I'm looking at your article. If you look at the fourth page, it says, and assuming this article is correct, it says when the Tshwane Council awarded Triotic the contract in February 22, Mdise was secretary of the ANC in the Tshwane region, a position he has held since 2018. Now, unless you precede your question with putting to the witness as a fact that at the time of the award, he was a councillor, if he was, or an employee of the state, you have to precede it with that before you say employees are not, Employees of the state, yeah, and not, people in the service of the state are not allowed to contract. It has to be preceded by establishing the fact that this person was in the service of the state. And if that is the suggestion, I think rather put that to him.
Let me put that as a proposition and I'll come back to it. If one assumes that, just to follow a caution from Commissioner Baroi, Mr. Mudisa was in the service of the state. So, in one way, would you agree that, or anyone, for example, who is a director, would you agree that he ought not to, would not have been appointed?
I agree.
Okay. Thank you.
Is it a fact that Mr. Mudisa was a councillor in 2022?
Let me come back to that properly on that.
I think that was
Yeah.
Commissioner Baloy's difficulty.
Question. Okay.
Because we know that this tender was awarded to the 22 security companies after the court order. And at that time, the question is, was he or was he not a councillor or an employee of the municipality? Because if he was not, then as Commissioner Baloy suggests, it's questionable whether we should be entertaining this line of questioning, unless it can be put to Director Malachi that he was in fact an employee and therefore he should not have participated in the tender.
Correct. No, I'll withdraw that at this point, Commissioner, and I'll accept that. Can you then go back to your page 15, paragraph 15 of your statement?
The said entities were again appointed under TMPD 2, 2016-2017. They have rendered services since their appointment by the court on the 22nd of October 2021. They are currently rendering the same security guarding services to the municipality.
Okay, proceed.
The next heading, the nature and extent of my involvement in the bid specification in respect of TMPD 2, 2016-2017. As indicated in paragraph 6, 7, and 8 above, I was involved in the bid specification in respect of TMPD 2, 2016-2017. I assisted the department as requested by the then Deputy Chief Rex Mashaule, and I was later appointed as a member of the BEC. My role as a member of the BEC in respect of TMPD 2, 2016-17, the evaluation process which led to the shortlisting of the 22 entities. Point 17, my role as the BEC member was to ensure compliance to the bid evaluation criteria as stipulated in the tender specification. It was a collective responsibility together with other appointed members. The evaluation process which led to the shortlisting of the 22 bidders was guided by the bid specification documents which were provided to the BEC by the Bid Specification Committee. Our evaluation criteria were based on administration, compulsory documents, and technical functionality. It was a normal evaluation process guided by supply chain management policy. The report was then adopted, handed over to the chairperson of the BEC. We followed the required procedures. I believe that the court would have not awarded the tender to the recommended entities if the required procedures were not followed or complied with.
On that, Ms. Malachi, I just want to say that you and I sitting here have no idea what informed the court order which was granted or made by agreement. We do not know what those who agreed said to the court. So I'm not sure that you are in a position to pronounce on whether the required procedures were followed.
I agree with the Commissioner.
Just one point, for example. What is required is that there should be an adjudication or adjudicative process. You and I know that there wasn't, for example. So we don't know what informed the agreement which resulted in the court order. So I'm not sure that you are in a position to make that statement. Do you agree? Do you agree?
I agree with the Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malachi. That's perhaps the point. Maybe I may ask it differently, Chair. Can I refer you to the second document I handed, which is CJC 5? That's the supply chain regulations. Can I request that you go to clause 28, 2? Yes.
It reads as follows. A bid evaluation committee must, as far as possible, be composed of officials from departments requiring the goods or services and at least one supply chain management practitioner of the municipality or municipal entity.
And would you accept that if any of those requirements are not there, there would be some issue with that, with the composition of the BEC?
I agree.
And just to follow on the question from the chair, which is at paragraph 29, in the ordinary sense, and obviously I can't probe you more on that because of your agreement with the chair, the BEC report paragraph 29 talks about that the BEC report must be considered by the bid adjudication committee. You accept that?
I do.
And you'd accept that there would be some difficulty if the BAC is not involved?
I agree, yes.
Just outside the circumstances, well, I suppose I can't take it further because you are not involved in the decisions leading to the court order. Correct. Now, just before I go to another part, at paragraph 19 of your statement, you don't have to go there, you indicate that I was involved in all the meetings and resolutions of the BEC in respect of the same tender.
Yes.
Does that tally with you, with your knowledge of what you've stated about you not being involved in some of the decisions that were taken?
My understanding of this was meetings, resolutions of the BEC to which I was appointed. The BEC in respect of TMPT 2, 2016-2017. So with that, I'm saying I attended the meetings and I was part of the resolutions that were taken.
Okay, that's fine. Then if you go to